Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be using the X Carve that Inventables very kindly sent me, and I'm going to be making a paddle to help me cook my steaks. I'm going to use it to give me an even pressure across the whole of the steak while it's cooking, and also help me get in between the griddle marks on my griddle pan so I can get the custom sauce that I make scraped out and all mixed round nice and easily. So I hope you like it. To start this project I got some measurements of my griddle pan, and then I could create a design for the actual paddle using SketchUp. I converted that into an SVG file, and then I could crack on with the rest of the project. I measured the thickness of the walnut I was going to use, and it was about 20mm. I secured it with some screws. The third screw ended up getting in the way, so I removed that later. I imported in the actual body of the paddle that I designed, and I made sure that I was going to cut out the outline, and I just double checked all the settings was correct. I then imported the handle, and again made sure it was going to cut out the outline, and I positioned it to make the most of the space on the walnut. When it all looked good, I just saved it by renaming the file. I made sure to change the size of the bit that I was going to be using, which was a 3mm bit, and then I hit carve. Made sure the material was the right thickness and secure, which it was. I'd got the correct bit size chosen, and the router bit was in the home position on the walnut. I then just had to raise the bit, confirm that the spindle was on, and start carving. I created a second file for the actual inlay that I was going to create. As you can see, it's the piece of steak, and I just rotated that by 90 degrees, and then I positioned it in the centre so it would be right in the middle of the body of the actual steak paddle itself. I changed the depth of cut on this to 0.02 of an inch, because I only need it shallow, and I'm going to be filling it with some epoxy putty later. The bit I was going to be using was 1.5mm this time, so I could get some finer detail. Again, I'll rename it. Go through the steps confirming that everything's correct, raise the bit, turn on the spindle and get carving. And that's what I was left with, and that's the inlay. I sanded a bit of a curve towards the front of the paddle, just to make the transition down to the actual fingers a lot nicer. Like I said, I was going to use some epoxy putty, and again my favourite is Milliput. It's brilliant stuff. Just mix the two equal parts together and push it into where you need the inlay to be. I like to mound it up and sand it down later. It sands really easily. Just a quick blast on the belt sander to get it down level and to expose the inlay underneath, which I think looks really good. I marked the centres and drilled holes, and then I'll just use some dowels and glued them into place to attach the handle to the main body of the paddle. I use some raw linseed oil for the finish because raw linseed oil is food safe. Don't use boiled linseed oil because that contains metal fragments that speed up the drying process but of course make it a non-food safe finish. And this is what the finished piece looks like. I really like how the black inlay really stands out. Now to put it to the test. Got a nice piece of sirloin steak here, and before I would be using just some tongs to try and apply some pressure, but as you can see I can't get an even pressure across the whole of the steak, which results in a not very nice lackluster looking steak. Applying the paddle makes a huge difference. I get even pressure across the whole steak and it gives it a really nice char grilled finish. I think you'll agree. Now I also have my own custom steak sauce that I like to cook in the juices of the meat, which is quite awkward in this griddle pan, so that's where the finger joints on the paddle come in handy. I can easily mix round the sauce, and it also helps to scrape the sauce out onto my plate when it's finished. A lovely medium rare steak. So this is the finished paddle. I think it turned out really well. I really like the walnut, and I love how the black milliput inlay really shows off the steak inlay that of course the X Carve did. I'm really impressed with the finish coming off the X Carve. The edges was really smooth. I just get it a really light sand by hand afterwards. Of course I put that nice curve on at the front with a belt sander just to give it a more elegant look. Really pleased with how the X Carve coped with this. If you like this project, there'll be a link down in the description to the Inventables page where the project can be loaded up through easel. I've got instructions step by step how I created this, and you can even load up the file and just click carve on your X Carve machine if you have one. There'll also be a link just to the Inventables website if you'd like to check out the X Carve and to see if there's anything that takes your fancy. If you'd like to see how I actually cook my steak from start to finish and how I make my custom sauce, click the link in the description and that'll take you to a video of me doing it step by step from start to finish. I know it's a bit of a strange video because this is a woodworking and making channel, but I thought people might like to see because I'll tell you that sauce is beautiful and I'm sure you'll like it if you enjoy a nice steak. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to leave a comment if you've got any questions about this project or anything else in general, I answer all comments and I look forward to reading them. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. That way you'll be sure to never miss a video whenever I upload one. So thank you all for watching.